when we spoke last week, you said something that really put things in motion, which was you cannot squeeze your biorhythm into a schedule. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, it's kind of what I built my practice on, that you cannot schedule. You cannot stuff your physiology into your schedule. And we have been taught that. That's what we've been taught for really, I mean, since the Industrial Revolution, and this kind of concept of creating a very zombified society that punches a clock and reports in and performs a certain function and doesn't deviate from that, schedule. But the reality is, we have, each of us, a somewhat unique biorhythm. Everybody, although as human beings, we all follow nature, and nature has a beautiful rhythm, as we are literally in a full moon right now. I have the most gorgeous view of the full moon. We are lunar beings. And in other words, the moon, because it is so close to the Earth's surface, just like it affects the tides, it affects our bodies. And our bodies adjust to the ticking of that natural clock and attune to that. Why? For optimal health. It's pretty straightforward. It's primal sense instead of common sense. Like common sense is built on, okay, we have to get up and we have to shove breakfast down the throat, because then we have to get to work and punch in by 9 o'clock. And then 12 o'clock is lunchtime, because why? Because why? Why is lunch at noon? Why? Because we're hungry? Maybe. Are we all hungry at noon? No. Do we all enjoy lunch? No. Do we require it? Maybe. Maybe not. And then, oh, okay, clock out at 5, dinner, bed. Oh, well, if I get to bed after, 11 o'clock, that's still okay. And, wake up at 7, like when the alarm goes off and I'm tired. Since when did the human need an alarm clock to wake up, right? All of these things are ways that we have very, very much shut off our connection to our own bodies, the house we actually live inside, and furthermore to the earth that we live on, and nature that we live within and with. And it is it's a co-creative, interdependent experience. So there's so much more to it than just our own dysrhythmia, but we'll keep it with that. And I want to also say that there's also subtleties in this. So for the person who is more quote unquote in charge of their own schedules, then the question becomes, when are you moving your body? When are you exercising? When are you eating? When are you sleeping? When you do have that control over your schedule, are you still creating a disconnect and a dysrhythmia? And how do you know if you are or not? How do you know when to eat, when to move, when to exercise, when to go to sleep, when to wake up? These are the most, in my opinion, these are the most important human questions that we have before us. Not, okay, what am I going to eat? Okay, what gym am I going to join? What is my job? What do I do? I mean, yeah, those are all important questions, but really, when do I sleep? When do I eat? When do I move? Do we truly know the answer to that? Or is it, I know I should exercise, And this is the only time of day I have available because I put it last. I put it as a last priority. And what I'm proposing is to make the simple commitment and adjustment to get back into a rhythm and a really, really profound, deep relationship with your body, and get back into a rhythm with the planet that you live on and nature. And everything else becomes so much easier because you're healthy. So you actually create more time in your schedule because you're more efficient, you're more focused, you're more productive, you're more vivacious, you're more vital. You have a lusciousness about you in every cell.
So the next question then would be, actually, it has two parts. First one is, what can a person do to find their own rhythm? And especially in the day-to-day, with all the craziness going on. And second part to the question is, how long is it going to take to then reprogram the biorhythm or physiology, or just everything else externally to match their needs?
Yeah, it's a great question. Two great questions. Well, I will start with your first part and answer that with perhaps an example, and also something that, that we do. This is part of a customized program that you can actually sit down with me and Elite Mystique Agency, and we do this where we can really follow your unique physiology, which is based on many factors, like as a woman, based on your lunar centers. Every woman has 11 lunar centers. So we start to track that. We could track that, over a period of time. And it really has a lot to do with the way that your hormones are secreting. And so we actually track this by your mood, which for every woman, your mood is your power. It holds your greatest gifts locked in. Sometimes what feels like commotion is actually really your sovereignty. So we do that. We can customize that so that not just to the day, but to the moment, how to best wield the energy available to you for precisely where your endocrine system is at. Now, that being said, how do you start? And how can it be simple? It is actually really simple. The first step that I would offer is a real coach kick in the pants. The first step is shut up. Shut up. And let your body speak. Get out of your own way and trust the fact that your body actually has everything it requires to heal, to regulate, to adjust. Life itself is self-organizing. When we don't disrupt, things just naturally equalize because life knows no other way to be. So the first step is to just shut up, stay out of your own way. So your brain right now perhaps is leading the charge of your schedule. And all day it's like, oh, all right, well, okay, I got to get the kids up. I got to get them ready. I got to get them to bed. I got to get them to school. Then I got to rush off to work. I'll throw my makeup in the car. At least I have time to grab a cup of coffee. I don't know what that looks like, but I got to do something. And then, okay, I got to get to work. I got 3 projects I got to do. I got to host a meeting. I know we're going to order in some sort of like bagels and whatever spread. And I don't know if I should eat that, but I don't know if I'm going to have anything else to eat. all right, whatever. And you're saying all this, you're chattering about all this before 5 a.m. in your bed with your eyes wide open, even though you went to bed at midnight chattering about the same stuff, plus all the stuff that you didn't get done today and the workout you didn't go do, and you're mad at yourself, and it's just another day of that. And so shh, shh. How do you quiet that? You just simply act. You say, oh, my brain is so loud right now. Let me take a deep, nourishing breath. One breath. That pranic force can literally reset the course of your existence. One breath is all your body actually requires to start adjusting whatever was off. That pause, it's like in music, you get off beat, you got to take a pause. There's a rest in the music, get back into the rhythm of it. And you can actually start to feel that. So, and you can't not shut up because you're consciously thinking about your breath now. Such a beautiful thing. Again, the body is craving this. So that would be the first step, and practice that. Do a self-experiment where you're just like, wow, I notice I'm just talking so much in my head about my schedule and all the stuff I have to do. And I'm planning. And if it's really a lot and it's really loud, you're having a hard time shutting up, take the breath and do what I call is a brain dump. So grab a pen and a piece of paper, and it's not like you have to do this in a planner or a journal or something you keep. You can literally just throw this on a piece of scrap paper, burn the bad boy. I'm saying that because it's the full moon and we like to burn stuff on a full moon, but and you don't want to type it or just say it out loud, but literally get a pen and a piece of paper and just write down every task that's hanging on your body right now. Everything that's undone that you feel like you're carrying the load of on your frame. Get it out of your body and onto that piece of paper. Every single thing. Pick up the dry cleaning. Look at my bank account. Book that trip. Did it everything, big and small. Buy groceries, whatever it is. Get it all out, all into that paper. And the very act of that is so calming. It is actually like having a massage because you secrete very similar hormones. You'll have a cascade of serotonin, oxytocin. You start to feel almost a bit of euphoria. You start to release muscle tension from the inside. And then once you've created those pauses, those magical pauses, and alleviated some of that muscle tension, quieted yourself down, then you've opened up the space. You've opened up the space and the opportunity to start to really listen to what your body requires. You can't hear what your body's saying when you're talking too much. So the first step is to really practice deep, beautiful listenership. Second step is then simply starting to listen. So take one biological, one of the, power plays, right? Sleep, eating, moving. Pick one, start with one, and start to just track, hey, when is it that I'm actually hungry during the day? It tends to be a very easy one for my clients because we do have a sense of that. What's interesting is when we start to go, when am I actually hungry? Seeing, wow, I'm not hungry as much as I thought I was hungry. And then you start to differentiate. We do a lot of work together in our counseling and coaching on determining that. So what I would say is if it is something that you're starting to feel like you're struggling with, then you're not alone. And we can definitely support you in that. And then you do the same thing with sleep. You do the same thing with moving. When do I feel like I want to move? Now, for most humans, the natural rhythm of the human, based on us and our relationship with the moon, is that when the sun rises, our bodies naturally secrete more cortisol, a little dose of adrenaline. Why? Because we've rested. And as the sun comes up, the sun provides us with solar energy, with light, which our bodies need to receive. We need to receive vitamin D. And that usually signifies the body starting to produce hormones that make us feel like moving, make us feel focused, make us feel like we want to be productive. You know, that sense of like, get up, kick the sheets off the bed and get going. Now, a lot of us are kind of in a cortisol overdrive haze. So we don't produce enough melatonin in the evening. We're not sleeping deep enough. We wake up, we're so groggy. We don't have that deep, restorative, sumptuous rest that creates then the cascade of cortisol that harmonizes with the beautiful sunrise and gives us that, oof, like I said, the vitality, the juice, the spice of life, the zest, the zeal for life. So it's a simple adjustment, but it does take practice and it does take commitment. Long-winded answer to your questions, but I think I answered them very, very clearly. Yes.
Absolutely. So would be a suggestion to, if you really wanna commit to yourself in that way, to just go away for about a week or so and reset everything, get away from the day-to-day stress, from the daily anxiety of all the commitments, and just be with yourself and practice and see what happens.
All right. Well, Sarah, I mean, yes, of course, like perfect world. Yeah, that's great. We can all do that. But we both know as moms and entrepreneurs, like that's something that is wonderful and can have a profound effect on any human. But what do you do right now when you're walking the ledge? You know, like when you see that your body's blowing out and you don't want to live like this anymore, and you're just truly not, like, you just feel like shit. You know, this is something you can remedy in a moment. And it's just a matter of what's really important to you. Continuing to live in a shell of a human existence, or get into let your soul settle into every cell of your glorious, strong, healthful body for however many years you're actually living in it. Live it to its fullest and just start. And you see the excuses that pop up, and you may go, oh yeah, you know, hey, I need to just get away, get out of my own schedule so that I can have time for myself, so that I can do all these things. And then what? You come back. You know, what we've created, I mean, we've created a container where you can remove yourself, quote unquote, you can retreat and have time over a few days to learn this or actually remember this. And we know what that looks like. So we've developed a very experiential retreat so that you have practical application. It just, what you relearn, you cannot ever unlearn again. You've snapped something into place that creates an entirely new existence to which you can never go back from. And again, that takes discipline and commitment and time, but 4 or 5 days, and absolutely we can hold that for you, because we've learned it the hard way. We know, it has to be experiential. That's what a physiologist does. The work I do with people is experiential. It's a practice. And then you put that into practice every day. You get the cellular upgrade, and along with it, a set of instructions that is to be practiced every day to keep that. And just like you may practice every day waking up to an alarm clock at 7:15, feeling groggy and shoving a bagel down your throat, rushing to get the kids off to school so you can get to work in a crazy, rushed, tense, stressed out experience of life. That's a commitment. That's a discipline. That's a habit. That's a ritual. Right? You've just created that particular ritual for yourself. And how's that working for you? How does that feel? So you can create any new ritual you want. And sure, I know that my clients in the past have said things like, well, the schedule I want isn't very friendly. It doesn't play nice with the rest of society. Well, then you're on the right track. Right? Then you're on the right track. It's like, well, yeah, but everybody wants to be at work by 9 and I have to be there. Okay, well, if that is the case, are you going to allow that to be the excuse that you die with? Or can you start to look at creative alternatives? Can you speak to your boss? Hey, this isn't the right time for you. Can you speak to your colleagues? If you're the boss, create a new dynamic. We live in a world that is actually moving away from a 9-to-5 experience. The kids have to be at school at a certain time. And you know what? Okay, so you're locked in for 18 years. Can your spouse take the kids to school 2 days a week, 1 day a week? So you can have 1 day. Maybe then it stretches to 2. Or if you know that for 18 years, you're taking your kids to school at 8:30 in the morning. Well, work backwards from there. How much sleep do you need? When do you want to get up that feels really good to you? Sun rises way before 8 a.m., way before 7, right? In most parts of the world. So you start to go, well, if this is a hard lock in my schedule that society has dictated that I don't really see a creative solution for now, then what else can I do to optimize my health? And just re-regulate around that. So there are tools. It doesn't require retreating from your life necessarily to take ownership of, it's your body, it's your physiology, and you only got the one life. And these simple little things, again, can make such a huge difference in, hey, what good is it if you get your kids to school on time if you're in the car screaming at them, tense and miserable?
Yeah.
If you have to take your kids to school, isn't that a great gift that you have this precious time with them for only the 18 years that you have it? I mean, it's only temporary. It's all temporary. And you chose to have those beautiful kids. So why not participate in that experience with all of the zeal that you can offer? Give them that gift. It's hard to do that from a really tired, anxious, miserable body. A riddled with pain body.
Awesome. Woo.
Good stuff.
Awesome stuff.
And we're having this conversation, just to share that Sarah and I are having this conversation at 6:30 in the morning. And a couple thousand miles away, 3 kids between the both of us, pretty much sole providers for our children in terms of their care and running a business together. So we're in it too. However, we've made a lot of choices to stand up and say, what do we get to do that feels really amazing to us, that works with our bodies. If you can't tell already, this entire interview, I'm actually walking. I'm actually doing my cardio. And I know that when I am moving my body, doing long, slow cardio, I am at my peak. So it is an optimal time for me to give an interview. How do I know that? Because I've tuned into it. Because I work with my lunar centers. And it's an everyday practice, but I prefer to be disciplined so that I can show up as my best self for my kid, for my business, for my relationships, and how am I going to serve? I want to be able to serve from a really fit receptacle, a receptacle that gets to receive as well, right?